Welcome back to Mega Man Zero. Last time we fought our first guardian, Harpuya. Well, let's pronounce it correctly while I still can. However, we're not going to be focusing on him today. We're going to be checking up on the factory because it's kinda hard to guard that thing. It's a little ways away and it's big. So chances are Neo Arcadia could sneak something into it, and by the tone of this music, I'd say they probably have already. And for some reason, everybody's watches are missing. But who would steal watches? Maybe a ninja? I don't know. Are you that petty? So yes, this is Phantom, and he is our second guardian. So we've seen 2 of the 4. If you did listen to the drama track, The Big 4, then you'd have had some introduction to Phantom. And now here's his proper introduction. Ambushing you at the start of a mission, which, you know, that's a pretty fun twist, just immediately getting attacked by a boss. And, you know, it makes re-records pretty easy, too. So be careful when he does this. If you hit the wrong one, then he will basically just go for an attack immediately. You're allowed to attack the wrong one if you attack the real one at the same time. You can tell the real one apart because he's more solid. But yeah, if you accidentally bop the wrong dude, then he will immediately just try to teleport over you and say nothing personal, kid. He can be pretty hard to dodge in that case, but not impossible. Oh, this is an annoying attack. Hey, remember... Oh god, was it Mega Man 4? I can't really think of it at the moment, but yeah, imagine if Wily were completely invisible and just started attacking you from nowhere. Yeah, this sucks because you can absolutely run into Phantom by accident when he's invisible. So yeah, my suggestion is to just try and attack as soon as you can and don't go too far forward. But also you do have to go kind of far forward because he's going to be throwing projectiles at you. Now the nice thing is, you can hit him, and that is of course the EX attack. You can hit him during his EX attack, which is different from Harpuya, who you can't, but... Unfortunately, while we did take down Phantom, that's not the end of the mission. It's not so short. This is a relatively quick mission, though, because we now have 3 minutes until this place explodes. So yes, now we have to make a choice. You can't end the mission now. It will result in a failure, and you'll lose the factory, but this is Zero we're talking about. We're not going to lose anything so easily. Look, we may not be dealing with anybody's lives here, but this is still very important to the Resistance, so he's going to rescue it. Thankfully, as Ciel will explain, the bombs we have to disarm are just, like, slashable. We can stab them and they fall off the wall and we can take them. It doesn't just make them go off immediately. Which, you know, I mean, it's a little weird, but I'm not gonna complain. It's convenient for me, so, like, I kinda like it. Right, so since this is pretty straightforward, we're gonna spend the rest of our time in this mission disarming some bombs. Don't worry, nothing in the vents, you don't have to go that way. Anyway though, yeah, so I figure today we're gonna be talking a little terminology, so I kinda want to get an early start. So, Phantom and the Guardians, as well as the rest of the Reploids that you fight in this game, are referred to as Mutos Reploids, that's M-U-T-O-S. So, the Zero series does the thing that the X series kind of hinted at, but never really went for. And that is, of course, the idea that you can kind of just call anybody a Maverick, even if they're not necessarily evil. Like, the PlayStation games especially were a little concerned about that, but they never really went for the full punch in those games, which I feel like is to their detriment. I mean, look, I actually wound up liking X4 a lot more than I remembered liking it. And, you know, X5 and maybe a little of X6 had some interesting points too, but yeah, they never really went for the full, like, Mavericks don't have to be evil, it's just a label, and so you can use that against otherwise good people. But they are absolutely doing that here, so in Mega Man Zero, we are the Mavericks, technically speaking. I don't think anybody really calls Zero a Maverick, but, like, he's in with a Resistance, so he'd be considered a Maverick in this case. So yeah, in that regard, we can't exactly call the bosses of this game Mavericks. I mean, you might want to, because they're trying to harm us, but we are on a team of Reploids. The humans, however, are under Neo Arcadia, so since we're seen as a threat to Neo Arcadia, we're seen as a threat to humans, ergo, Maverick. So, yeah, because of that, we kind of had the terminology of Mutos Reploid. Thank God. Oh, you know, that's actually another thing that the, restored hack actually changes, sometimes to the game's detriment. I think it's a little bit unnecessary, but they do change goodness to God. It actually screws up one of the text lines at one point, so I had to go in and fix that. Yeah, sorry we're always risking your life. Yeah, nobody likes sending Zero in to solve every problem. But, like, it's an effective solution. Yeah, we're bringing up the substitute energy again. Which, hey, Neo Arcadia is gonna get all up in arms about an energy crisis. I'm sorry, you have several killer Reploids hunting us. Those don't take energy? I'm pretty sure I already said that, but... Anyway, though, right. If you do save the factory, go back to the factory, because even if you went there to get energy crystals the first time, they respawned. This is the only time until you start a new game that you are able to get more energy crystals, so honestly, yeah, take the opportunity and get some more. You're going to need them. Again, even in a single playthrough where the requirements were lowered, I didn't have enough energy crystals in a single playthrough. I never did grind, but it's a little tedious to grind like that in this game. It's better just kinda keep starting new games. Anyway though, so, Mutos Reploids. Yeah, so that's what you're gonna want to call the bosses in this game, though it does refer to the more animal-like and the more humanoid bosses. The Guardians look a little more like the Reploids that we're used to on the good side, and all of the other ones that work under them are what we're used to seeing on the Maverick side in the X series. But nope, they're all against us this time. Also, fun fact, they are all based on, usually animals, though Phantom is kind of just a ninja who is called Phantom, but they're all based on mythological figures, so, again, typically it's more about animals and whatnot. They might be mythical animals in themselves, but oftentimes they are animals that are associated with certain figures, so like, you do have Anubis Necromancis, who is a jackal. Jackals do exist. But, you know, he's named Anubis. That's kind of right there in the name. It is relatively obvious, but yeah, Anubis is based on Anubis. I've already mentioned that Harpooia is based on harpies, so even the more humanoid Reploids are actually based on animals to a certain extent. Again, Phantom is very much the odd card out. He's just Hidden Phantom as his full title, so he's kind of just a guy. He's just a guy. Like, ghosts don't exist, so obviously a Phantom is a mythological creature in of itself. Tis a ghost. That a ghost. But yeah, otherwise, he's a man who is based on a not really animal concept. I mean, granted, there are plenty of Phantom animals in existence, but this Phantom seems to just be a guy. But yeah, Blizak Stagroth, there are white stags in mythology. I looked at the wiki because Aztec Falcon. Aztecs and Falcons both exist, so I was kind of curious about that one. Apparently, the Aztec god Huitzilopochtli, I think I butchered that slightly, can take the form of an eagle. So there is that one. Again, I had to double check that one, because I'm like, I know Aztecs are often mythologized, but... mytholicized? Either way, the culture is often mythologized, but it does seem like there's a more specific thing it is within that culture that it could actually be based off of. Anyway, let's look over the elves now that we have a bunch of E-crystals. Okay, so Shelter. Shelter turns into a common rider. And then into, I don't know, maybe a kaiju monster? I don't know how big he gets. Alright, let's, I think, fully upgrade Winky. That should be her last form. She's just the eldest nurse of all of these. And, I guess I'll put some money into you, but... you're just a smaller one. The four surrounding her are health upgrades, but the main nurse is actually a, she gives you a second meter like the bosses have. Yeah, that's Winky. Yeah, you know how the bosses have, 2 meters? Yeah, you get that if you use her, so... if you're looking to do a Cyber Elf run of this game, you can get a lot of health. I'm of course not going to be doing that. I will not kill any Cyber Elves. But yeah, you can really up your HP in this game. It's very tiny, if you just leave it on its default state. Zero can die very easily without help, but, you know, he's old, so these sort of things happen sometimes. Anyway, though, that'll do it for Mega Man Zero this week. Next one's going to be short, but, do you want to see Zero do cool things? You do? That'll be the episode for you.